So our first questions are going to look at student hardship. Alright, so students across New Zealand are feeling quite hard done by with the increased economic pressures such as increasing costs and living expenses and housing. So our first question, what would you do to address and alleviate student hardship among New Zealand students? Dr. Reti.
Kia ora. There are two ways that we address student hardship. First is through offsetting expenses, and the second is through having real jobs at the end of your study. Let's look at offsetting expenses. Two ways we do that as well: student allowance and interest-free student loans. Now I want to acknowledge the hardship here, because you know 2/3 of students aren't actually eligible for allowances. 2/3 take out student loans at the end of their study, finish at about $30,000. You know, when you've got a loan like that, strange things happen. You get strange changes to the workforce. In 2000, 20% of doctors went offshore to pay off their loan. Yeah. People make family planning decisions because they've got a loan. They decide whether they go on to do postgraduate study because they've got a loan. So I want to acknowledge student hardship. But at the end of your time, and you're here to better yourselves and to get jobs, you need to know there truly are jobs. We're good at jobs. Last week, 5.6%, the lowest unemployment in 5 years. Lower than Australia, America. We're good at jobs, and you need to have that hope. Thank you.
Mr. Hudden, anything to respond? Just a response.
Just a response or
Yes. Yep.
Enough we say. One of the things about education, tertiary education in particular, occurs to me that it's a simple question, and it is this: for a lot of us who are my age and older, why is it that our children have to pay for an education that we all got for free? Why is it that we sit over here moaning about the loss of all of our young people when we're charging them so much that the first thing they do before the ink even dries on their diploma is book a ticket to Sydney or Brisbane or anywhere other than here? And the reason why is because we're not investing in our young people and saying, we love you, we want you to have a free tertiary education so that you can give back to your country, so that you can give back to your people. We believe absolutely in a free tertiary education. Big question comes after that, of course, which is, how will we pay for it? Tax the rich.
I was able to go off and I was able to work during the day and study at night because there were jobs during the day. And then I went to Polytech and I studied during the day and I worked at night because there was jobs at night. I've got a 19-year-old boy. He doesn't want to study. He doesn't want to face a big student loan because he doesn't know if he's going to get a job at the end of it. And that's what we need to do. We need to make sure that there are jobs at the end of it, because how the hell are we going to be able to pay these student loans unless there's work? This town has been hollowed out by the rich people in this town. There's no shortage of food, there's no shortage of money, there's no shortage of warmth and shelter in this town. There's a big shortage of aroha, big shortage of love in this town, and we've got to make sure that our kids have got something to look forward to, so they go, hey, I want to study because I know there's a job there for me. Thank you.
Mr. Doherty, how do you intend to address the issue of student hardship?
Me personally, kia ora koutou. Yeah, I was a student like Connie. We got free education. I went to University of Auckland and did a civil engineering degree. Grew up in Whakatane. And then after getting my degree, I worked in Wellington for a little while and went off to the UK. But that wasn't because of the student loan was pushing me off there. But over there, I got into cycling. There was too many cars on the road, and I started riding a bike to work. And actually, one of the things that the Greens are thinking about is innovative transport. So we're looking at schools, safe to schools, but also the student, the green student card, so you can get free public transport off peak. I know that doesn't help all of you who live in rural areas, but when you get into a city, you can have free public transport for tertiary students and apprentices. So I think that is, because transport is really important for social inclusion. We need to feel included. Kia ora.
All I can say is let's hear it for the dollar bread. Hey, that's awesome. Hey, Mata, milk. Of course, we, whānau hapu and the Taituka, support the GST being taken off. Hey, but what I really like about the New Zealand First kaupapa is not only our fruits and veggies, it's on those things, bread and butter. Can't afford, got to make a choice, I can't afford the butter. They have the good stuff, that's, you know, the healthy canola stuff. Hey, so we support a universal student allowance, hey, but we also, on top of that, want it to be associated with inflation, and where it's reviewed every year. So it goes up naturally. We also believe that we agree wholeheartedly with the aspirations of internet mana. 1991, Otago University, big sign, Lockwood Key. If the fees go over $1,250, I will resign my post as a minister. 30 years later, he decided to leave. Fees have gone up. When I left medical school, $80,000 in debt. I couldn't afford my principal. Get rid of them. It is unfair. We want to repeal the State Loan Act, the student loan. Hey, get to the border, get arrested. Why? Because you're not paying your bills back. Get rid of it. Don't enslave our children.
Kia ora tātou. Unlike Papa and Matu over here, we were paid to go to Teachers Training College. Look, we're lucky, ia mātou te reo. Nā runga i tērā, he tino taonga hei whakaoki atu ki roto i nā iwi. So before the free bus ride, we had the Manaki card, which endorses free transport for those whānau being put into education and being put into tertiary. The education population for us is about free transport for students for whānau and a Manaki card for those whānau low incomes. You know, it's about promoting institutions and tapping them into business and employment, because we all know education and employment go hand in hand. But for me personally, yes, mātauranga te angitu, and how we get there is that we sit at the table with people like this, or whoever may form government, and we deal and we negotiate.